Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. I'm Karlee.
I'm Sandra, and I've got to say that we've either outdone ourselves or we are in way over our heads for this episode. But one thing I'm sure of is that Dean would be impressed that we have not one, not two, but three lovely writers in Baby's Backseat along for the ride. And what a ride it's going to be, because our topic today is Wincest fanfic. So I wanted to get started with some introductions. All of our guests have been writing for years, and Sam and Dean are the primary pairing of their supernatural fan fiction. So we have with us Carole, who's known as Fire Sign 10 on AO3, Tammy, who's known as Tammy Wren H on AO3, and Sandy, who's known as Marinwin 76 on AO3. And we're going to provide links and descriptions so you can reach out and find out a little bit more about all of these great writers in our episode description when you actually take a look at it. So I'm going to leave the improv now over to Karlee. Thank you, ladies, for joining us, though. I wanted to say that first and foremost.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us, guys. So if you guys want to just quickly introduce yourselves, just a little bit about you, maybe why Sam and Dean is your one true pairing, because they are, and I agree with you. I'm Team Wincest as well.
I've been a fan since season 3, and I was reading fanfic right after the season 3 abrupt hiatus with the writer's strike. And so I started exploring. I had already been reading fanfic for Stargate Atlantis and NCIS, and I thought, I bet there's supernatural fanfic out there.
Famous last words.
Yeah, right. So I was reading, and then in 2012, I posted my first story on AO3, and I've been writing ever since. And here I am.
Great.
Fun stuff. Sandy, do you want to go? Quick introduction next.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Sandy. I'm known as Marinwin76 on Twitter and AO3. I've been watching Supernatural from day one. Actually, in Germany, we were 1 year behind, but every week got in. But I come to the fandom, to fan fiction, way years later. I've been reading fan fiction for Stargate, SG1, not Atlantis, sorry, Carole, and for Star Trek. So I do know that it's out there, but when I came check out for Wincest, I thought I was the only one, and I got so overwhelmed to this huge amount. So I would consider myself still as a reader. I am a huge fan of reading all these beautiful fan fictions, and then I get over my assignment and wrote my first own fan fiction in 2018. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I found it's really helpful if you have a friend to bully you into doing it as well, which is what happened with me. I didn't write for years and years, and then D Dandelion Dreamings was like, "I've got this idea, and I figure you could get in on it." And I was like, "You kind of backed me into a corner, and I can't really say no, but fine."
Yeah, I was really too shy. I had a friend actually who was pushing and kicking my ass to try it at least, and yeah.
Yes, that's fabulous.
Nobody pushed me. I just was like, I'm going to give this a try.
Yeah.
Glad you did.
Absolutely. Tammy, do you want to go? Brief introduction?
Hi, I'm Tammy. I'm Tammy Wren H on AO3. I got into Supernatural kind of late in season 7. Was one of those people that found it on Tumblr and then followed it and said none of this stuff could be really true that they're showing on Tumblr, and it turned out to be all really true. And I started reading fan fiction about the same year. It took me a while to get up the nerve to write because I actually knew nobody in fandom. I knew nobody on Twitter, so I had nobody pushing me. And the first few fics I wrote, nobody read, like 12 kudos. Nothing happened to them, but I kept writing, and finally people started finding me. And then I found some really great writers, especially Carole, who was very helpful to me and is one of my betas. And I've been writing ever since.
Oh, guys, that's great. I love it. See, Sandra, look at all these other people that have their handles together and they're all the same handle.
I'm all over the place, yes.
I want you to know that I clocked that immediately. And I was like, look, these people have the same thing on Twitter and AO3. This is just a constant source of tension. Google Drive folders and her mess of online information. So
my Twitter is a little different because years and years and years ago, I set up a Twitter as Firesign10. And then I was like, Twitter is too much, and I left. And years later, Twitter I was bullied onto, but I couldn't use Firesign10 because the old account was still there and I couldn't get into it. My Twitter handle is true_Firesign10.
Yeah, it's still there though. It's still
there.
Yeah, you're just all over the place, Sandra. I love you, but you're all over the place.
I know. It's just all this information I'm trying to keep track. That's all it is.
I just like things to be neat and orderly, and Sandra likes lots of different
we're going
things.
to keep our argument out of this lovely conversation.
Yeah, we are. Don't get me started on Google Doc folders. So, ladies,
it's just like Sam and Dean.
It is. We argue about really dumb stuff like that.
But the exact opposite. That's what's funny about it. Like, they're the Sam mortal. I'm the Dean girl, and it's the complete flip. So it's funny. But so the main reason we had you here is we're going to maybe talk DC Con later, but Wincest. So the three of you are writers, lovers of readers of Wincest. And I just wanted to get someone else's thoughts who very much enjoys that. Like, what is it about Wincest? What makes it one of your favorite pairings, ships, kind of to dive into and discuss? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, silence.
Well, I always hesitate because I always jump in and I don't want to block other people. But otherwise, I always jump in. So, if you want me to
you go first then. Do you go first?
Am I going first?
Yeah, you go first then, Carole.
Right.
You go first.
All right. So, I love Wincest because there's, first of all, there's just the appeal of like two really handsome guys.
Yeah.
But, much more than that is the fact that Sam and Dean have a connection that's, to me, very unique in the depth of it, the unconditional and deep nature of the way they love each other, that they turn to each other, that, the whole, they grew up only having each other to rely on and trust and depend on. It doesn't mean they're not volatile, because obviously they fight and they, bicker and they, have their moments where they're like, I never want to see you again. But they always come back to each other because that's just how they're hardwired. They're hardwired to be together. They're soulmates, which is canon, in several parts throughout the series. So they're soulmates. It just so happens this time around that they're brothers. And so between all of that, it's just, to me, really appealing. And there's so many, it provides so much fodder for stories. There's so many ways you can write about them and about their relationship, and whether it's in the context of a case fic and they have a relationship, or a first time, or all these different facets. They are there for each other. And, any effort they've ever tried to be with someone else has never worked. And, even in the very end, there they are together on that bridge. And that, to me, that just really says it all.
Yeah. No, I'm on board with all of that.
It's perfect. Okay, I make a point here. It's perfect. No, I'm always a fan when it comes to shipping or reading about it. It's chemistry. I watch a show and I felt like, oh, those two really have chemistry, and it just happened. I watch it, I feel it, and it happened. And I was surprised. I'm honest here. I was surprised to see that, like, oh, there's even more. do I really want to ship that?
Mm-hmm.
But it's exactly this. They have this. I'm looking for the words. I remember season 5 when Chuck was at this convention, and you have these two guys at the end, and telling Dean, like, having someone who's willing to die for you, isn't this the most honest love you can ever achieve? And it got me at that point. They have this extremely unnormal, unhealthy, whatever relationship. And I remember sitting there watching season 8, Sacrifice, and it really got me. That was my turning point, to be honest. And I'm still a person that can't separate canon from fan fiction. So in canon, I know, right, they are brothers and they love each other really like no one else. But in fan fiction, I can get this one more step.
Yeah.
And I love to explore that. I love to read about it. I don't need it in canon. I am sorry if I'm here, but this is the difference for me, to have this very, very special bond between them in canon, but I can get one step more in fan fiction, and I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do. I don't think with the lives that Sam and Dean live, you would have to look too hard to see that next step either, even in canon, because they're a mess. We love them, but they're just a big old mess. We need therapy Winchesters. So yeah, no, I can totally get on board with that as well. Tammy, do you have any thoughts, Wayne?
Just what they said. The relationship is so unique on the show, and that they're so interconnected to each other that, no matter what goes on, that they have each other's back. And they're also hot, and there's a lot of chemistry there. And it's just a fun ship to me. It's just something fun to explore and to play with.
Yeah, 100%. I like the way all three of you were like, yeah, they're really attractive.
Very hot. Well, it's not so hot.
Yeah, no, I could totally get on board with that as well. Just like, I know they're brothers, but maybe.
Well, it's not going to be that fun unless they're really hot. You're right about. I mean, quite frankly, I think you have to really enjoy that aspect of it to write.
Yeah,
about it.
Absolutely.
It helps.
I like it. I like knowing other people. It's not shallow, but I like knowing other people have the same train of thought as me. Just like
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
Jared
but I hear the overall like theme too is like how very codependent they are and how intertwined their relationship is, and how very there's not one specific role that each of them have in each other's relationship. I feel like they'll take turns in certain roles, even if it's big brother, little brother, but then it's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's different. What do you need whenever I need it? And yeah, there's the arguments, but there's this really deep seated care that they have for each other, even if they deny it, which I so was pissed off about in season 9 when Sam just kept going on and on about like, oh no, I would totally like give you up for like, whatever it meant for the world kind of thing. And just digging that into Dean over and over again until the very end of that season. And that I hate the seasons when they are arguing with each other for a majority of it. Those seasons are painful. So I do like when you get a season where they are together front and center battling whatever the big bad is. And it's not so much, even though they go back to the trope of secrets time and time again and what they're doing and what they're withholding for each other for the benefit of the other. It's just so very layered and just so interesting, right? Like, I don't even think the writers knew what they were doing when they developed these characters. Like you were saying, the chemistry had to be there too, to expound on it and to give people a reason to see something in addition. Because they really didn't even talk about the soulmate thing, I think, until like season 5, right? Like, I think that's the first time it was really stated.
Yeah.
So like you get the Dean is basically in charge and is taking care of Sam, but you get more layers and layers of it, which I just love about this show. Sometimes it's so bad, but it's just so good. And it's just like you can just find things to explore. And I really appreciate that about Supernatural and about the actors and the writers, but sometimes the showrunners piss me off too. But we get into that too.
Absolutely.
Refer to them as being lightning in a bottle because, of course, when they cast them, they had no idea, and they ended up having this, almost magical thing happen between the two actors and their characters and how it all gelled. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. But this is also then in the ending seasons where, yes, our frustration comes in because they were not handled with the same consistency.
Care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moments where you're watching an episode going, did you watch the first 8 episodes?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
They didn't.
Yeah, and we have gems in there, like, of course, like red meat and everything, but there were really, sometimes in those arcs where you're like, oh my God. But even with that stuff, they are able to transcend it, and we're still in the trenches with them and rooting for them.
Yeah, I think especially the last or the depth season, I sometimes call them the wasted potential season because they always start with so much promising. Was it Michael Dean arc or when Sam was standing up like there won't be any more King of Hell or you have to go through me. I was rooting for it. I was so excited for the last season because I thought, okay, they know it's the last season. They can get everything. And I had the impression it was more like one more filler episode. Okay, when does it really start? And the last 3 episodes were like, oh my God, I can't even follow. It's so rushing. And then even Jensen mentioned, like, we were driving with the brake on and suddenly we're full throttle. And that's a little bit sorry, but I think the relationship, I mean, my mind knows, okay, if you go one more season, you have to bring always something new, always something bigger. The fights must be bigger, or the enemy, I mean, at the end we have facing God. I don't think there's anything over it, but so my mind knows it, but my heart bleeds a little bit for the first seasons when it's just them driving, hunting monsters, saving people,
Yes.
Yeah, so I always appreciate when we find episodes that kind of give an homage. I remember like season 14, Nihilism, which I think it's an outstanding episode. David Perez did such an amazing job writing 3 different kind of characters for Jensen, and I think he nailed it. Bringing back all these bringing back the situation where Sam exactly knows where to find Dean in his head because he knows where his brother would hide. And then bringing up Poughkeepsie as the word to get Dean out of it. I think we had these episodes in the later season, but there were unfortunately very few.
Yeah. 100%. And then when you get to season 15 and we're like 4 or 5 episodes from the end and they're doing a flashback episode and you're like, why?
I hated that episode. I hated that episode.
It.
Yeah. Likewise.
My least favorite exact was the unfortunately the God episode where they ran out of luck. And again, I think from the idea, it was brilliant to see, okay, what if all the rider luck, whatever, is gone? Or I even thought about what an interesting way to let monsters fight against each other. The story was brilliant, but it was too much. I became to a point where I really felt embarrassed for them. I really felt like, I mean, those are trained hunters since they were kids. And suddenly Dean isn't able to unlock or to pick a lock. I mean, come on. That was so embarrassing. That's my least favorite episode. Sorry.
I was so mad about that stuff. I'm like, fine, he got a cavity, or fine, he found out he's lactose intolerant. But they can't shoot straight. I mean, come on.
Yes, 100%.
Wow, that was awful. That was one of the ones where you're like, did they watch this?
Yeah, that's why. 100%.
I don't know
It's
if you guys.
interesting.
Oh, sorry, Carly. I just wanted to add one thing. I don't know if you all had the same feeling I did about how dumb they made Dean towards the last
Yeah.
couple
Oh,
seasons, which really,
Oh.
really grated on me quite a bit.
My balls all just smarty
Both.
cunt.
I mean, they made kind of both sometimes. I mean, even Castiel, they made all three dumb.
Mhm.
Sometimes, okay, do you have a job? Do you know what you're doing? Do you lost everything now? What's going on? Sometimes he can heal, sometimes not. Sometimes he just was
Yeah.
standing there. I said, okay, give them a storyline for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, go for it. Go for it. It's great. We're exactly the same, especially with Castiel. They didn't just neuter him; they full on castrated him. He was a soldier of heaven, and they were like, "And now he's an idiot in a trench coat."
But I never knew
Nice.
what he could do either. Like every season, it was something different. Like, could he not fly then? What's going on? Why is he like? What did they take away from him
Yes.
this
When
time?
you think
Because
about,
yeah,
he had such a great intro when you think about, season 4 when he comes in and
Oh
the
yes.
things and all this stuff. You're like, wow, this is really cool. But like, season 6 or 7, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the barn and the lights and the season 4 Misha with that jawline. Yes.
Hey, but
All
then
of that.
they just squander the whole thing, and
I
moving on.
guess no, completely agree. I guess we should probably ask, do you guys have like a preference? Are you Dean girls or Sam girls? Am I alone again? Carrie and Sam.
Carly,
So
I'm so happy to tell you, I was certainly originally a Sam girl. And I grew to love Dean/Jensen as time went on more and more. But Sam has always been, he was my primary. And, if it came down to it, he's still a nose ahead of Dean. So Sam is my,
yay!
yes.
I don't have to carry him all on my
And I'm like,
own.
oh, Carly's all alone. So I'm, if I have to pick, I'm a Sam girl. But in general, I guess I'm a bi bro.
I love that. I'm stealing that. Yes.
I'm definitely a Sam girl.
Yes.
I love my Sam.
Yes. Yeah, how's Dean feeling now, Sandra? He's been a bit heavy, isn't he, mate?
Well, wait, Sandy's gotta chime in.
Well, what I have to say, actually, I didn't want to watch Supernatural because I'm such a how do you call it? I'm too scared. I'm a chicken. And my husband by the time did those magic words because he said, "Oh, your Dean is in it," but he meant the Gilmore Girl Dean. So I was totally confused that my Dean wasn't my Dean anymore, but now it's another Dean, and he really, really got my heart pretty soon. But as Carole said, I was always consider myself as a bi bro because I think it's really this. They make each other that this chemistry between those two, whether it's Jensen and Jared or as Sam and Dean, that makes the show so special. And I think that was the reason the show keeps going for 15 seasons at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And no, there can't be you without can be me. So yeah, no, I'm totally a bi bro. But if you really, 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 really want to shoot me, then it's on Sam.
Yes.
Hey, that's okay. I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine.
How's you feeling, Sandra?
It's fine.
It's getting pretty heavy, aren't they?
It's fine.
Pretty heavy.
I've read a lot of the. I've been like going through everybody's library of works, and I kind of got that vibe from quite a few of the stories too, in terms of being from maybe Sam's perspective or different things like that. So no, I'm all for it. I'm proudly a Dean girl through and through, even though Carly
I love Dean.
Carly will tell us how when I started the show, it was because of Jared, because I had watched Gilmore Girls, like I'd sped through that on Netflix, and I kept seeing this pop up on Netflix of this show, and I saw Jared, who I recognized. Oh, Gilmore Girls. Oh, he grew up cute. And then I'm seeing this other dude, and I'm like, he's just a pretty boy. And it took me literally 5 or 6 seasons of me trying to make Sam, I guess, my primary, But then I was just like,
wait. My 3 Sam people. Let me tell you the exact season she gave up on him. Fucking season 6. With the body and the pull-ups and the soulless, and she was like, nah, the short one's it for me. Outrageous.
Well, let's be honest, we don't only watch the show for the plot, right?
It's a plot in the show.
Isn't it a workout?
I hadn't seen Gilmore Girls at all. I actually came to it via Buffy because I was a diehard and still am a diehard Buffy fan. And then you have a gap, a couple of years where I'm like, oh my God, and then this show came along and I was like, well, maybe this will fill that supernaturally kind of, void. But then, I was like, wow, and they're really cute too. I'll tell you what, see, I like older Jensen Dean. Like when I watched seasons 1, 2, 3, he's like too young.
I think that's what it was for me too, because I started watching it. I was already a lot older by the time I started watching it, and there's already a little bit of an age difference between me and Jensen. It felt wrong, I guess. Like I kept crying in the first. I'm like, it felt wrong with Sam too. I'm like, they're just too cute. Like they were just too cute. And I think season 6 kind of had that shift for me. And I just kind of like, I really need to pay more attention to this guy that's trying way too hard to be all of these things that really deep down inside he's not. He's just a teddy bear kind of thing. So that's I think how I ended up. Really,
but of all the seasons,
I know.
Of all the seasons, that one. That's my issue. My issue is I really want to tell on you to Jared and Jensen at a con and be like, she came from Gilmore Girls and then switched. I really want to tell on you. But my issue is not that you moved from Sam to Dean, because that's perfectly reasonable. It's that you picked that season with the body and the hair, the pull-ups.
I can't explain it. I wish I could really explain it, but I can't. It's just when you know. So
yeah.
No, that's what happens.
I think when you know, that's a good point, because that's the impression when you start shipping or when you start getting like, oh my God, my heart goes for this character or for whatever. It's just happened. You can't describe it. It's just a feeling, and you watch episode and your heart grows a little bit more for it.
Well put.
Yeah, I came in. I didn't know either actor. I didn't know either actor from any show. I didn't know anything about them. So I think the first few seasons, I was pretty equally a Sam and Dean girl. And then as the time passed, I really felt for Sam. But yeah, I came in with, I didn't know Jensen. I didn't know Jared. I hadn't seen them in any shows. So I came in with, no expectations. And just, I wanted to know what this weird show was that I kept seeing on Tumblr. So
yeah, I was exactly the same. I came in not knowing Jared and Jensen from anything. Most US shows don't cross the pond, or very rarely. So I had no ideas, and I was like, the one with the hair. That's all it was for me. I was like, that one, the one with the hair. Speaking of hair, shout them out. Which is the best season, people?
Oh, the best hair season?
Yeah.
8.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Although I like the bangs and things in season 1, those cute little bangs.
Yeah.
He has. Well, it really adds to the whole puppy thing, But yeah.
Season 8. Sandy, you 8 as well?
What I'm really torn. I really loved season 2. I think it has a brilliant story arc, and
we're talking the hair, girl. The hair.
Just the hair, not the plot. Not the plot. The season 8 plot was garbage. We're just talking about the hair.
Just the hair. I don't care. I love those two in season 2.
Okay.
So
that's fair. Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, season 8 is also brilliant.
Yes.
Even if it started pretty rumbling. So I'm still not over this Amelia part, whatever that was meant to be. I always thought it was like kind of a fantasy, and he wakes up in a fever dream or something like that, because it was also colorful, and so I just expected butterflies coming out of her ass or something.
It did have that weird filter on it, didn't it? That like weird hazy. Yeah, this might be a dream. I'm going to pretend it was a dream.
It was horrible.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yes.
But they didn't know when they were writing it. I bet they were winging it, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, let's do this." We often joke that there's a spinning wheel like when you watch the panels from Jib and they have the spinny wheel and
Yeah.
Yes.
writers
And it
had
always lands on drink.
and they would spin it to see what was going to happen next, you know.
Yeah.
We just recorded an episode about Mary, and I said the exact same thing when they brought her back. I was like, man, they just were like, oh bollocks, we need a big bad. Fuck. Oh, we've got nothing. They resolved the God thing. Bring his mum back.
And I was actually really excited about that at first. When that ended and we first saw her, like I screamed, you know? And I was like, oh, this is going to be really great. And the first couple were, and then it was like, and then she left and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
that was my feeling for season 14. I mean, we know there's Michael Dean, and I was like, oh my God, do we get Lucy for Sam or whatever? This is this final battle we all expecting in season 5. And then she's in the third episode. It's like, what? Okay, that's it. Well, okay. No, there's a twist. There's a twist, and there comes a twist, and I was like, yay! And then 2 episodes later, okay, he's gone now. That's wow, that's a twist. Okay, so no,
Yeah.
They
did the same.
Sometimes the writers surprising me in a very
not a good way.
They did the same thing with Demon, though. They were like, oh, he's turned into a demon, he's a knight of hell. And then it was like 5 episodes later and he was magically cured like no one's ever been cured before. And then I was like, you can't pull this on me twice. And then they did.
Yeah.
And I was like...
They did at least give that incredibly hot scene where he's stalking Sam.
Oh, yes.
Thank God.
Neck and he's like,
yes.
I mean, that scene alone launched 1,000 fanfics.
Oh, yeah. Some really, really good fanfics on that.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. Okay, so this is normally the part of any given podcast where we would go, hey, our sponsor today is, but we ain't sponsored. So we just have some causes, some charities that we'd like to bring to your attention, point you in the direction of if you feel able or willing to donate to them. We have 3 main sort of causes, inverted commas, that we're promoting feels like the wrong word, but like signposting, highlighting, if you will. So the first one is to do with the conflict in Ukraine, the Russian invasion unlawfully of Ukraine. So we would just like to draw your attention to World Central Kitchen, which, as it sounds like, is, helping to feed people that are affected by this conflict. Although it's dropped out of the media quite a bit now, there's still a hell of a lot of people in the Ukraine that are trapped, that are cut off, that are struggling for food and water and basic supplies. So that's what that charity is there for. We have Kid Save, which, again, as the name suggests, is looking out for the children that are affected by this. I mean, conflict feels like the wrong word. It's, it's an unlawful invasion. But yeah, Kid Save. And then we have, if you don't feel you can or want to commit to just one single charity, we also have a link to the global giving page for the Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund, which obviously is then split between various different places that it needs to go. It's sort of the global equivalent of a GoFundMe or a Just Giving page. So we have that. And then for those of you that are in the US, and oh Lord, we know it's hard right now. We do. So we have the Mums Demand Action, Ending Gun Violence, the Sandy Hook Promise, advocate for gun regulation in your state, wherever you may be. We have the American Civil Liberties Union, which is, basic human rights. Come on, people. It doesn't feel like it should be this hard, but somebody needs to give your government a kick up the ass and be like, hey, it's not this hard. You're making it harder than it is. And then, of course, vote.gov, look up the voting regulations in your state, in your area, find out what you need to do, be informed, be prepared, because that is the best way to enact any kind of change. And that doesn't just go for the US, that goes for the UK, anywhere else. Educate yourself. Know what you need to do so nobody can catch you out. Last cause, definitely not least, LGBTQ plus people. My folks, we are under attack. There's no easy way to say it. There's no nice way to say it. People want us dead, yo. It's really heavy in the US. It's coming in the UK, and it's fucking hard. there's no one cause fits all for this. There's nothing particularly global. And to be honest, I didn't really want to signpost to any, causes that are fighting against this. I want to bring this down more to people. We're not a statistic. Everyone's a person. So the causes I want to signpost are Switchboard LGBT in the UK and the Trevor Project in the USA. And they are both services where you can reach out, you can be connected to people to talk to. It's hard. We need to come together, guys. So if you need to talk to somebody, if you need help, if you are not safe where you are, these charities will help you. Reach out to them, even if it's just someone to talk to, even if it's just someone to go, this fucking sucks. If you need that help, reach out as well. For anyone outside of the US and the UK, I'd like to draw your attention to the Trevor Project. Again, they have resources for international LGBTQ plus people, youth. We know that as much as it's hard in our countries, it's a hell of a lot harder in some other countries, and it's not easy to come out. It's not easy to be safe. So take a look at that link for some resources, some places to go for help, some ideas of how to keep yourself safe. So again, it's not a sponsor. We wish we had a nice, fun sponsor to bring you, but we know that it's hard, and we just want to point you in the direction of help for others if you can give it, and help for yourself if you need it. So back to the podcast, I guess. So, this was supposed to be about Wincest, but I feel like we've just jumped into the show. So 100% you guys will have to come back and we will deep dive into feelings on the show, because you seem to share a lot of the feelings me and Sandra have.
Yeah.
100%.
Pleasure. I told you we come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So since you guys are all...
I wanted to ask, because I'm going to try to reel this shit back in a little bit. So in terms of background,
there's
on,
4 of us now.
Background on early Wincest and when it showed up in fanfic. Does anybody have some information on
first
that?
Day.
The earliest, okay, because the earliest I could find
the first episode. The first fanfic was written after the first episode. I've never read it, but I know that.
Okay,
really?
Okay.
Wow.
I think it actually was. Somebody at one point said it was posted half an hour after.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was Wincest. It wasn't just a fic. It was Wincest.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
No,
was
it started from the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it, and I don't know, has anyone read that one? Was it an established
No, I
relationship one?
haven't.
Was it a first time? Was it does anybody know? I'll have to do some digging because I couldn't find that.
Established.
I just read the lore about it being written, but I've never read that one.
Okay.
Or even I don't even know who wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll try to go back and find it so next time I can tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if I remember it right, it was about the reunion, seeing them back. There was something before Sam left for Stanford, and then they reunited and explore these feelings again.
I love those
if I remember
fics.
correctly.
There's lots of them now, and I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
Just nice little reunion fic. If we find it, guys listening, I'll tweet it out. We'll, if we can find a link, we'll put it out on the Twitter page as well.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really cool.
If it's still out there, then it'll be on LiveJournal. It will not. I don't think it ever got posted on AO3.
Okay.
That's
that was long before AO3.
The first one on AO3 I show was.
I found July 2006.
Yeah, I think there actually was October
of 2005, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was the first one, but we can investigate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. So
I'm sure there's some.
Go ahead, Tammy.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's some on other platforms, older Wincest fics.
Yeah.
What do you prefer writing, or is there do you like established relationships over first time, or do you like to explore both of those when writing, or is there a preference for the three of you?
I write. Go ahead,
I like writing anything. Yeah, I like writing anything first time established.
Yeah.
I like to explore them in every possible way that I can explore the theme. So yeah, I don't have a preference as to which one. It's just whatever my muse directs me to write.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll do first time. I'll do established. I'll do they broke up and got back together. I mean, I'll just do, whatever the story calls for or starts with.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I would say actually both, but looking back, I think I definitely wrote more first times. I love this chilly feeling when your stomach just sending butterflies and first kiss and all that. So
yeah,
I really think I wrote more first times, but I enjoy reading definitely both.
I don't like sad ones. That's my only kind of. I don't like anything that's like they broke up and they stayed broke up. I don't want to be sad. I don't like writing sad either.
Who writes those? I don't want to feel bad about stuff like that. Like, I want a happy ending at the end. Like, just give me that,
We
Like,
wrote them,
already,
Sandra.
They're already going through so much. Why do you want to keep that? Like, I understand the tension and all that. But at the end of the day, give them some happy. They need some happy.
Yeah.
When you
I wrote one exactly one unhappy ending fic, and I've always felt so guilty about it. Like I've always wanted to go back and fix it. I feel such guilt about that one fic.
Yeah,
Which one is that, Tammy? Because now I want to look at it.
I want to know as well.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to think of the name of it.
Okay.
You guys go on talking, and then I'll remember it.
To be fair though, Sandra, you can't say that because albeit it wasn't Wincest, but we did it. Our collab was really sad.
Oh yeah, and I hated it. That's why I didn't want to end it that way. Like I wanted to change it and be like, no, give them a reason to think that it's going to end happy. Like, give them that possibility. I wanted the reader to have that a little bit.
Yeah.
I made you do that, Karlee. I made you think that way when you read it.
Yeah, you do. I wrote the middle part of that, and I always think Dean's going to get there in time.
Mm-hmm.
I always think he's going to rescue him, and he never does. So who writes those? It's us. We write them.
Yeah. It's free falling.
We do it one time and then we realize not to do it ever again. That's what it is.
And then we have tantrums on Twitter because the characters won't do what we want them to do and they're fighting and they won't get in line.
Yes. Do you guys have that too where you're like, no, you're not supposed to be doing that right now when I'm writing you?
Oh,
Why are you reacting that way?
Yes, all the time.
Yep. You guys have like a Twitter group chat where you go, why won't they fucking do?
Yes.
Because we do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Or then you're supposed to be writing a PWP and you're like, would you guys stop doing plotty stuff and just
yes. All the time. That was
Carole and I just did a 24-hour fic where you have to write a fic and somebody gives you a prompt and you had 24 hours to write it. And it's supposed to be porn. And mine just kept going through. Dean kept getting angsting and I'm like, oh, come on. Just get to the
Yes.
Yeah,
I did that with one of my it's called Quarter After One, and it was supposed to just be like a fight and then makeup sex, and then Dean had like the biggest breakdown right in the middle of it, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Stop it. And he was acting all over the place, and she wasn't taking his bullshit, and I was like, guys, I'm supposed to just fuck. Why have you done this? It took me a whole other chapter to resolve it. I was really mad. It was supposed to just be one thing. So
it's sometimes surprising how a story really develops. You started getting it in your mind, and then the characters told you, nope, we are doing this, and you just go with it. I always felt like when your muse strikes, go for it. You can erase it later or keep it for another fan fiction if it doesn't suit. I remember I wrote a whole scene, and then it felt wrong. Too much angst, too much of everything. So I deleted that part, but kept it safe to bring it maybe in another fan fiction and get it done. Yeah. But it's always interesting to see when you start a fic and how it ends. There is so many changes between.
Yeah, absolutely. You start out with a nice vision and you're like, and this is what's going to happen. And you put them out into the little bit like journey and they go, nah, we're just going to take a detour. And you're like, guys, had a plan outline and everything. What have you done? Yep. Totally. That happens to me all the time. And I do go to our group chat on Twitter and tantrum about it as well and be like, won't fucking do what I need them to do. Sandra just works through it like on her own. And then she'll just post something and not say a word. And I'll be like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, I really enjoy that we have this, for example, now with Carole or Tammy or whatever, that we can share the stories. Like, can you go over this? Can you give me your feedback? Does it work? Does it not work? I mean, at the end, we are all a little bit anxious, like, oh my God, is it worth it to publish? And it's so wonderful to make this friendship, to make this connection with people who you can enjoy it with. And like, if you work on this, that doesn't work, but this is perfect. And it feels really, really good. It feels really like a hobby I enjoyed. I really enjoyed writing and to communicate with the people I met online. I mean, look at us. We're Americans, England, British, German, whatever. I met from Iran. This is a connection that is worldwide, and it's so special and it's so wonderful. And I think reading from something you love can be so fulfilling. I don't know, hope it's the right word. So I really, really enjoy, and I'm really glad and grateful to get in this fandom from the side and get so much love and kindness. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely feel I know for me, I really didn't get into it until the show. I really didn't start watching again till like it was late. It was like 2019. It was like early 2019. So I kind of, I think it was right around COVID when I like writing, or I have written. And so I started reading all of these great fics. And I was like, well, when COVID hit, I was like, well, I really need to get all of this angst, and I need to escape, into something that doesn't make me think about how horrible the world is sometimes. So, even though there's not necessarily the best things that they're dealing with, it's this ability to channel a lot of what you're feeling and understand it through your characters and appreciate the beauty of just, these characters and how I've learned to love these characters more through fan fiction too. It's just there's so much there and so many viewpoints and experiences and exploration and embellishment that is amazing to me. Like, even just looking at the amount of fiction that's created about the show is astounding, and it hasn't waned as far as I can tell. And we're over 2 years. We're getting close to 2 years since it's ended. And if anything, I just think it might be just a source of solace and comfort, and what you're in for, but you can learn more in that regard. And I really like that about these characters.
I think one of the things that really is feeding that is that even though the show itself is no longer shooting, it's still streaming. So you're constantly still getting people who are either watching it over and over again, or people still coming to it. I mean, we've seen at cons even where people came to it via Netflix or whatever, and so that keeps it, I think, really alive and really vital. Because in terms of, and certainly there are writers and artists who fall off, but that kind of happens in any fandom.
Yeah.
But there are still we all participate in a number of fiction events like bangs and challenges and things like that, or like Tammy referred to this 24-hour flash fic. It's called Salt Burn Porn.
I've read a lot of them. And
so, there's a lot of these, all three of us wrote big bangs for this past summer. And, there's still so many events. I think we're all writing reverse bangs, aren't we? All three of us are writing.
Yes, we are. Yep. Yeah.
Can I ask what a reverse bang is?
That's where you get it's where you get the art, isn't it? You get the art and you make a story for the art.
In a regular bang, you write the story summaries get posted anonymously, and the artists pick, and then you find out who you're paired with. And
that's awesome.
In a reverse bang,
I'm thinking totally porn related. You guys are going there. So.
No, it can be anything. It can be gin. It can be anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So the art gets posted, and the writers pick, and then you find out who your artist is, and you write the story for it. So
gotcha.
There's a reverse bang running right now, and we're all three of us are doing stories for it. Isn't one of us doing more than one?
I'm doing 3 reverse bangs right now.
Oh God. That's too many.
You are busy, Tammy.
I am busy, yes.
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
And so there's a lot of activity still, a lot of things are always kind of going on and new stuff's being written all the time. And
So can I ask, because I mean, like I said, I'm a writer that's primarily, I like to write Dean with either like a reader or original female character. Are there big bangs or reverse bangs for that? Or is it really kind of like, say, Wincest or Destiel? Like, because I've just noticed it's harder to find that kind of niche, you know, in terms of like stuff that I like to write or focus on. Do they have those?
yes,
Okay.
not for reader. I don't know any bangs that accept reader.
Okay. Okay.
But most of the bangs, obviously, if you're in a Wincest bang, well, it has to be Wincest.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like I just was talking about the big bang, or really even the reverse bang, as long as one of the characters is like Jared or Jensen, or I think even like if you could count John or whatever. But anyway, one of them has to be one of the characters, but then you could have, you know, there are, say, Sam and Jessica fics, or Sam and Dean and Jessica, or, you know, you can have that kind of pairing. You can have Dean and Joe, or you could have, you know, I don't like this pairing, but say Sam and Eileen.
What?
You're gonna hurt Carly's heart.
No, that's my backup ship. My ship is me and Sam. That's the backup one if I have to provide a canon one. You know, it's like you have your email address and you have a business one, and you're like, this is my ship, but that's the one if I need to look professional. You don't like Sam and Eileen? You don't?
No,
you're not feeling it?
I'm sorry. In fact, I have to say I wrote a fic, and one of the tags for it was "Bye Bye Eileen."
I like that tag.
Yeah,
that's a good tag.
The point is, depending on how that bang is set up, you can definitely write het. It does not have to be, you know, slash.
Okay.
So you have to, like, you know, you just have to see what the rules are. But I know Big Bang allows it. I know Reverse Bang allows it.
Okay.
We should look into this, Sandra. I think
we should.
Yeah.
We should.
You can, if you want to contact one of us, like off the podcast here, and we can give you an idea of what some of the bangs out there are.
Yeah, a lot.
Into.
I just did the Sammy bang, and one of the people wrote Sam and an original female character, so it does happen.
Okay.
Yep. I've written Sam and Rowena.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Isn't the Masquerade also very, very...
the Masquerade. Yeah,
oh, yes, Masquerade. You can have anything you want in Masquerade.
Yeah,
and there is a reader
Masquerade
prompt.
Amazing. Yeah, you definitely have to check that out, because you can give prompts. So if you want a story for Dean with a female character or reader, or you can scroll down. There are so many prompts, and they are amazing. And you can just write something and post it anonymously. So it's really, really fun. It's a great show.
Masquerade is great, and it's open now.
And there is a reader's prompt in there. One of the characters, I forget which character, and a reader. Okay. So there is a prompt for that in the Masquerade.
And then definitely het stuff. You can definitely put het stuff in there.
Okay. Yeah. That's great to know. Yeah, because I've always been very hesitant about even just trying those, you know, like the bingos and challenges and stuff. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody, and I started doing challenges and getting paired with artists and whatever, and that's how I met people. I knew absolutely nobody on Twitter and our fandom, and that's how I became part of the community, is through bangs.
That's great.
It's really great, you know, and then you're like working with people, and you're meeting other people, and, you know, often bangs will have a Discord even, so like Eldritch Bang has a Discord. You know, a lot of them will set up a Discord room. I'm not a Discord user myself, but you know, and that's a really great place, because then they can go and talk about their bang and their stories and stuff. Or then, you know, chat groups will pop up on Twitter, you know, hey, who's writing for this? And they'll throw together a little chat group for something.
Okay.
So my very first Wincest I ever wrote was a reverse bang. So I love the idea that you can see a picture and maybe just a few notes, and then you create a story about it.
That's lovely. Amazing. I love that idea. I love the artwork idea. That finding that sounds great.
Yeah.
And there's so many talented artists in the SPN fandom. God.
Yes.
So I think, like, in terms of fanfic, are there any tropes that you really love or hate, either like writing or reading, or like on that side of writing?
I definitely love hot comfort because, I mean, come on, it's so obvious. This is really something I like, and I do like first times. Surprise! The classic, the fix it sometimes, like when you really have, like in season 9, or the moment, the voicemail doesn't have to be. I would love to see, or I like to read about what can we do with it. What can we show? What happened behind or after the show? So these are definitely my favorite tropes. And I don't like to read, as we said, major character death. It's not really. I mean, looking at season 15, there are some amazing fics that reflecting on that, but normally I don't like really unhappy ending. I need my happy ending. This is the world where I escape from the cruel world outside, so I definitely need happy endings. And when the characters are abusive or really, really mean to each other, that I can't stand that. So that's my no-go.
Yeah.
I can't do a very popular trope, but I cannot do it as serial killers. I can't do it. And I'll watch real life serial killer stuff. And seeing Sam and Dean or Jared and Jensen as serial killers, to me, it just negates everything I love about them. And like, so I can't do that. I don't care for stories that are heavy on infidelity. And I don't like stories that either string you along and you think there's going to be a happy ending, but then there isn't. I can read some major character death if, like, I wrote a major character death, but in the end, it's not really. So, I can do stuff like that. I love things like slow burn, either friends to lovers or enemies to lovers. I love boyfriends, soulmates. I love pining and angst. I love case fix. I love case fix, because that's what one of the things we love about the show. So I love case fix. I love fuck or die.
Yeah.
I fuck or die. And I like both non-AU and AU. I think they both have, their qualities. Of course, non-AU were in the world that we see them in. And then even the AUs can be so clever and, like Sam and Dean in the Impala, but it's set in the Firefly universe, or, coffee shop fix, things like that. I really enjoy both non-AU and AU.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you right up until you're like, I love slow burn. And I'm like,
I don't love slow burn. I don't have the patience for slow burn. I'm like, fuck already.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm like, Tammy. I'm like, don't hold out on me. I got blue balls. Give me the palm. I need this now. Yeah. No patience.
I'm not a big fan of slow burn. I like pretty much any fic. I write pretty much any type of fic, including ABO. I like probably the only thing I really don't like is if one of them is just really out of character that I see. Yeah, that I can't really find any of Sam in what they wrote.
Yeah.
Any in what they wrote. That's probably, the only thing that really takes me out of a fic is when I'm like, and then the same thing, because all three of us read and write J2 as well, and if it's nothing like what I perceive them being, then it just takes me right out of the fic. But I'll basically read anything, and I try to write most things. I'm not really good at writing dark. I keep trying and failing, but someday. But
you have to really.
You got to just wait for the muse to take you when it comes to dark stuff. You can't just go in and be like, I'm going to write a really nasty fic today. You got to wait until you're feeling it.
But I actually did that one time. I thought, I'm going to go as dark as I can get. It took me like, oh my God, so many rewrites. And I was working with somebody and I kept saying, and she's like, no, you can do more. And I had to really, really push. And it came out, I was, perversely really happy how it came out.
Yeah, I really want to do it. I'm trying with
Yeah.
the masquerade prompt right now, but yeah, I usually end up snarky instead of dark.
It's really draining, you know. And I was like, well, I did it, and you know what? I don't need to do it again.
There you go. Yeah, I just want to do it once and be done.
Yeah, you know, just to see.
Well, yeah, you discussed a little bit of J2 and ABO, and I think that would be great to have you guys come back for, because I think again that could probably be a whole other episode.
Oh yeah.
It's so much of its own world and has its own things. But yeah, we actually, the three of us were talking about this like yesterday. We were kind of like,
yes, we were.
And we're like, you know, we're not even going to get into that because that's a whole nother show.
Yes.
We
would absolutely love to have you come back and talk about J2 and ABO stuff as well, though.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about that about an hour ago because we don't, well, she preps, I don't prep. I just turn up and go, yeah, right.
I have a page and a half of my notes here. So.
Sandra, you found your person. Yay.
I'm a prepper. Just not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not either.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not.
So I think I watched, Carole, I watched a video podcast you were on, and you were talking a little bit about LiveJournal and AO3 and like the different writing platforms. Do the three of you enjoy like how AO3 is set up? Do you find that there's certain limitations to it? I know just in terms of communicating, I find I'm very frustrated with that aspect of AO3 because you can comment, but there's not like this immediate easy way to like connect to say your readers and stuff like that. You just kind of hope that you know you line up with people. Is there do the three of you use AO3 a lot, or is there another writing platform that you lean on? And then if you do use AO3, how do you like search for fics and reading material? Do you kind of utilize tags, or is it more just reading summaries? So I guess it's like a multi-layered question, but just like what favorite writing platform and, you know, pros and cons to them that you found?
One of you guys go first, because once I start on this, I'll be talking.
Okay, I'll start because AO3 is the only platform that I use. I know lots of people like Carole were really big on LiveJournal at one time, but I can't figure out LiveJournal. Okay. So AO3 is what I use. I do wish there was more ways to communicate. You know, it is sort of like really formal. Mm-hmm. And people you know, use the kudos a lot, which I like getting kudos. Mm-hmm. But you don't really get a whole lot of feedback other than I guess they looked at my show and they liked it enough to leave kudos. To think others not thumbs down, they might have left that. But you know, there's not a lot of immediate feedback on it. But every once in a while, people do leave comments, and they leave, you know, sometimes beautiful comments. Every once in a while, I feel like maybe I'm not a good writer. Maybe I should give this up. And I'll go back and read some of the, and they really just, you know, they boost your views. Like, oh, well, at least this one person really liked what I wrote. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that to me is good for that. To me, it's good. AO3, the tagging system is awesome. It helps you find the type of fics that you want. I sort all sorts of ways. I sort through, you know, I usually go by relationship. So Sam and Dean, or Jensen and Jared, if that's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And then I'll just check out the tags first to see if it looks like something I'm interested. Then I'll read the summary. And then there's artists like, you know, Carole, that I'm pretty much going to read everything they write. Right. So, you know, that's how I find the fics on AO3. But to me, as far as a platform goes, AO3 is probably the best for writers and readers that is out there.
Yep. I would agree with that. I don't get LiveJournal or Tumblr. I'm just like, it's simple. You can click stuff and tags, and you can sort things. But yeah, if you got different feelings, Carole, you feel like maybe LiveJournal is better.
Sandy, do you want to go?
She's got notes.
She's prepping a rant.
No, good. I started writing in 2018, so I only published on AO3, which was established, and it was so easy for me as an absolutely newbie when it comes to anything on the internet, like LiveJournal. I have to study for it. I'm an old woman. Come on, I can't get it. They were like, you have to just use the code, use that HTML. And I said, what? And I don't get it. I don't get LiveJournal. I'm only there because to join the banks, actually, and to put there the link to AO3. It's so simple to publish. It's safe. You keep your copy there. You can download it to your reader, and it makes it very, very easy for me.
I do love that part that you can download it and then read on your Kindle.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, please. Yes. I do like that. Yes.
It's so easy, and I enjoy the hell out of that. So, if I would publish on LiveJournal, I know, or I heard that the range between comments is very, very higher. So yes, I do love getting comments. I mean, come on, we would all be lying if we don't love. And I can only repeat myself again and again. It doesn't matter if you wrote like 100 words or whatever, or just one simple thank you, that was beautiful, or I enjoyed it. I don't care. As long as someone reached out to me and let me know that they love the story, that's the most amazing compliment I can get. Yes, there are compliments or comments. I go back and back when I have a bad day, when I really felt low. These comments, I read through all of them, and they keep motivating me. Yes, I do love kudos, but comments are like this balm to my soul. So please don't hold back. Anyone out there, if you want to keep us motivated, that's the only fuel that we need, actually. And for looking out, I don't really use AO3 as a search platform. I do have a Facebook page where I get lots of beautiful recommendations. I get recommendations on Twitter or in a group chat. And I keep open tabs and open tabs and open tabs. And let me tell you, Safari,
I have 50 open tabs.
There are only 500 tabs allowed, and I managed to open them all. So.
Oh my God. I've never got 500. I've got like a few.
Yeah.
My brain is breaking just thinking about that many tabs. My God.
What do you do? What do you do if you get an ad on one of them and it starts playing music and you're like, I don't know which one it is?
It's just crazy because I don't want to lose all those recommendations, and I keep opening them, and I don't have the time to read them all, but I don't want to lose them. So goodness. Yes, it's very. There's a huge community out there who loves to recommend stories, and so it's more like a give and take. Yeah, see this one, oh, you will love this one, and that's beautiful. I think about the fandom, or about the fan fiction area itself.
Okay, Carole.
Go, ready.
Go, Carole. Go.
I've got my notes. I'm writing stuff down.
So I came from LiveJournal because I'm older. And I started earlier. So in 2012, I basically started with posting everything on LiveJournal. And at some point, I started cross-posting fairly soon. So I would post on LiveJournal and then also on AO3. Certainly the download aspects of AO3 are incomparable. At this point, I will still post my master post on LiveJournal, but depending, I may just post on AO3, so I only post the link. But sometimes I do still post it actually in my LiveJournal and on AO3. And a lot of things are still hosted over there. As far as searching, I have some writers I'm subscribed to, so you can subscribe to writers that you like, and then every time they post something, you're like, aha. Also good if you're reading a work in progress, and you get a notification like, oh, a new chapter is up, like Sandy, I'm in a couple of fic groups on Facebook that are always getting postings and recommendations. I'm in a couple on Twitter. People are always recommending fics. Following any events, like any bangs, big bang posts, I go through them, I'm going through the list. I'll skip maybe a couple that just don't seem to pique my interest, but then I'll read all of those, and I'll read all the reverse bangs, I'll read all the Eldritch bangs and everything. So I kind of get my stuff all over. I often don't search that much because I'm getting so much input. But if I do, then I'm like, okay, I want Sam and Dean, or I want Jared and Jensen, and sometimes that's all I even do. And then I'll scroll, or I might say, okay, I only want completed fics. I only want English fics, because you don't need to read a summary and then find out it's all in Chinese or Russian.
I hate that. Sometimes I forget to search by English and then I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yep. So I'll put a couple of very general things in and let it run. Sometimes I'll be searching for a friend, and they'll be like, oh, I'm looking for this fic. And then I'll go in and I'll like this tag and this tag and this tag and this tag to try and find it for them. But when I'm just reading what I want to read, I have, I'm in a Facebook chat with about half a dozen other people. And one of them is keeping a to be read list. Like, as everybody finds stories, we throw them in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, 600 stories. So
Oh God.
now, admittedly, I've probably read at least a quarter of them already.
Oh,
Well, you couldn't open all of them in the tabs. It was a very-
I could. I would get too much anxiety about that. If I have like 12 tabs open, I'm like, okay, what can I close?
Oh, we are different people. No.
Yeah, I have tons of tabs up. I'm
I'm racking the tabs up and then accidentally close one, and then I'm like, fucking hell, scrolling all the way back through my history trying to remember what the title of it was so I can get it back.
And that's another thing about AO3 too, is you get history there. So you can be like, it doesn't matter what you read it on. If I read it on my tablet, I can be on my laptop and still look it up in my history. I do agree, however, with Sandra, that there isn't the communication there. Yes, kudos are important, and as Sandy said, comments are balm to a writer's soul, or a writer's heart. And that's where LiveJournal was. I hate to say better, because they both have their strengths. AO3 is truly an archive. It's not built to be a communication engine, whereas LiveJournal was built to be that way, so that we have the comments and the dialogues that contribute to that sense of community building. So Twitter kind of gives us that. But of course, you're not really posting the stories on Twitter. You're just posting the links. But at least there, you do get to be able to have the communication and the dialogue. But yeah, back in the LiveJournal days, you could go to a friending frenzy and meet a whole bunch of people who, love Supernatural or, these things. And that's where my sense of community grew first. And partly one reason why I resisted Twitter for so long, when unfortunately, when I got to Twitter, I already knew so many people and then met more people that Twitter is like very much my home now. I am still on LiveJournal, and I've backed up to Dreamwidth and whatever, but LiveJournal is really where my heart started, and now I've just expanded, with AO3 and Twitter.
Okay, I might have to try LiveJournal then, because I've always been a lurker, and again, I think that lends itself to just like, how do I get myself to reach out to people? So anything that makes it easier, because the only reason I'm literally like doing a podcast with Karlee now is because our mutual friend who came about on AO3, commented once, and she wrote like a page and I wrote a page back, and we did that a few times, and I'm like, here's my email if you want to email me. And she emailed and we started talking, and then it was like, oh, I have this friend who also like, I want to get them into writing. And then we started doing, we did that first collab, and then now here we are doing this wonderful thing. But I'd love to find, more people to communicate. I'm so thankful you all decided to say yes to coming onto this podcast, because that opens up my eyes a lot to, how much more community there is. Just, you have to kind of find it sometimes. It's not going to find you. It depends on what platform you're using. So I think that's great.
Are you active on Twitter?
I wish I was
She's
more.
not.
Karlee's like, no, she's not.
No.
Yeah. So it's more like a me thing, trying to just, be more active and stuff on there. So yeah, we're getting there. It's baby steps for me. It's a long process, So I'm getting there. But yeah, those go ahead.
She does have a book coming out around Christmas though. Huh?
Yeah. I've written like romance for a good you know, 5 or 6 years. But again, like nobody reads it because I don't know how to market this stuff. So we're going to kind of use this platform, you know, to kind of like maybe push that a little bit too. So it's
You write under this name?
Yeah, Sandra Kyle. Yep. Yep.
Oh,
that's
really?
her.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I have an Amazon link. I'll post you the Amazon link. I bought it all the other day.
Yeah.
I've written, so the one that's coming out end of December is a cowboy romance, and it's based off of Dean / Jensen. Not even like before, like I can't even talk now because I'm thinking about him as a cowboy. Before Bo.
Save a horse.
So
Ride it.
yeah, so it's like it's that kind of, you know, but it's like contemporary cowboy, you know, like that
Right.
feel of it. So yeah.
Well, I may have to pick your brain then, because
Okay.
I'm currently working. I currently have a story that I have flipped, as I
Mhm.
put it, that I'm hoping to self-publish.
Oh, yeah. I'm your gal. If you need help with that, I can show you the ropes of how I've been doing
wanting
it.
to do it. I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years, but of course there's life and then
Mhm.
COVID, you know, self-esteem issues.
Yeah, all those things, all this imposter syndrome. Oh no, like yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, no.
and I now have several where I'm like, okay, these are the ones I can do, and
Mhm.
you know, Sandy and Tammy have heard all about this.
We can have a whole other podcast about that. Yes, I would be more than happy to give you my thoughts and like, you know, experiences and stuff, because I did a little bit of small press with a couple books in the beginning, and really it wasn't marketed, nothing really happened, and I flipped a short story that I wrote about Dean during COVID, and I just kind of like changed names and stuff and put it out there, and it actually does, you know, it does pretty well. People like it, and but I want to be one of, you know, I want to make some real money doing this kind of stuff. It's kind of my goal.
Is there a print version of the pandemic one, or is it only Audible?
No, it's on ebook too. Yeah, but it's a different name. I went a
Oh,
little.
for the love of
I did that
God!
again. Yes, so I'll have to. Yes, I did that, Carlee. So
Right.
yes, I'll get that.
I have put the link to Sandra's Sandra Kyle Amazon account in the Zoom chat.
Yes.
Apparently, there's another one.
Yes, there's another. See, it's that thing. I can't stop. You may have to hit me over the head with that. But yes, we can
I'll go
definitely.
into Audible and find it from
Carole, pick my brain if you feel like it. Just, you know, shoot me an email or whatever, and we could discuss. I'm more than.
And in return, I can actually turn you on to a series that could help you with the marketing.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds good.
Called The Thrifty Author.
Okay.
And, it's both of we'll talk more about it later. I don't want to
Sounds good. Sounds good.
But isn't this amazing? I mean, that's exactly what I mean. That this fandom brings so much creativity and is so supportive of each other. And I felt so welcome from day one. And I just hearing you two chatting, getting in touch with each other. That's really the purpose of fandom, in my opinion. And to see all this beauty, was it creating art, creating fan fiction, creating, I don't know, poems or videos. I am so deeply grateful and impressed what comes out for such a beauty, what comes out of this fandom. And yeah, it's amazing.
100%. That's great. You just like come on the podcast for Supernatural, and now you're like, we'll exchange information about publishing books. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. All the con questions about Supernatural bringing people together, it's so right, and I love it so much.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I don't
found your other one. Your other pen name.
I don't try to find it. I'll help you.
I
Don't worry
found
about
it on Audible. It's fine.
So I guess because we don't want to keep you too much longer. Really quick, do you have some, because I've gotten some ramble on suggestions, I think from two of you, that I could read and sort of do like a little audio version of some of your work, which I do love to do. I've gotten better at it, and I really like finding a way to bring other people's writings to life that way. So I'm really looking forward to doing those. It may take a while. I've got a backlist of stuff I'm doing, but they will come out at some point.
So
but I wanted to go ahead.
Sandy and Tammy sent you ramble-ons?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll throw into one is Riven Soul.
Okay.
And the other would be the Coriolis effect.
Okay.
and those would be like under that length, within that length thing. Yeah.
Okay. I'm writing it down right now. So we've got it.
I was going to say, are you writing it down? Because I had to scroll back through a lot of tabs.
I'm writing it down. So I guess the last thing really quick is just if you'd want to like tell us about some of your favorite works that you've written, like really like brief descriptions. I have a bunch of ones that I picked from all of you, but I feel like we're going to have to save that for another episode. So I have my notes that I could save, but just really quick, if there's like a favorite work that you've done and like for whatever reason, it's your favorite. I know it's hard.
I'm sorry to ask. Is it the Wincest or
whatever? Anything.
Okay, if it's anything that I would talk about, the Happy Baker. I think it's still one of my favorite, actually, because it came out of nowhere, and I love the humor in it. I love the sarcasm in it, and it still had this really lovely side characters, which I really love. So I would go for this one, and if I pick a second one, it would be the familiar tale of Jared and his familiar, which is a complete fantasy.
Okay.
So I'm now like 4 scrolls deep on your AO3 in my tablet, bookmarking shit frantically.
Those are both such delightful stories, and the Happy Baker actually comes with recipes too.
Yes, as a recipe, which is definitely proof you can do it and enjoy everything of it. Yes.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Really delightful fix.
Awesome.
I love it. I'm just opening up all your AO3 pages now so I can go through and scroll at my leisure later and read and comment obsessively on everything. Because I will. I'm now, since I started writing, I comment. So I'll kudos and I'll comment and I'll come back for every chapter as well and be like, "Hiya, it's me again. Still here. It's still awesome."
So if you want to check the Wincest thing, maybe check my last one. The Wincest is oh God, help me, Carole.
When You Wish Upon a Star.
Yeah, When You Wish Upon a Star. That was a reverse bang. For the Wincest bang I did lately, which was just one picture showing Dean and Sam with the Disney castle in the back. And so I wrote a complete story about how the guys went to Disneyland and explored Disneyland and explore a little bit more about themselves.
Okay.
I think I saw that because
that's one of the ones I put down as my notes that I was going to talk about. So yes.
Oh, that's great.
So should we go, Tammy? Do you have? I'm putting you on the spot. What's one of your favorites that you've written for whatever reason?
Probably, and it's really recent. It's called Morning Glory.
Yes,
and it was for the Sam Winchester Big Bang, and it is Sam with, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong because I've never heard it. I just seen it written, but Hanaki disease, which is a disease where you cough up flowers.
Oh.
If you are in love with someone and that person doesn't love you back, and it will eventually kill you. This is not a death bit. Sam does not die. Okay. But I don't have a lot of confidence in my writing ability in this one, where I feel like I actually wrote pretty well. I plotted it really well. There's some surprises in there. There's some humor, and there's a lot of angst. Mm-hmm. And so I think of all my stories, that's the one I'm most proud of.
Oh, great.
You can be.
Story. I've had the privilege of beta reading all of these.
Yes, she's my beta. She's awesome.
You always got our back.
Sandra betas for me, but it's less like spelling and grammar and things like that, and me going, does this make sense? Is it dreadful? And she goes, no, it's great.
Yeah, that's definitely all part of it.
Yeah. And then we get into little competitions where I write 2 fucking lines about Dean taking his shirt off and like 2 paragraphs about Sam nearly having his cock out, and she's like, hello, Dean took his shirt off. Still mad about that. That's Birthday's Winchester sandwich style, if you wanted to go and read that. Because then after she did that, I made it a point to be like, I will get your attention with Sam. And I didn't let Dean talk for the rest of the fic.
I do like it when Dean talks. If you keep him busy, I like hearing him talk.
Yeah, I kept him busy for the rest of the fic. I don't think he had any dialogue for the rest of it. I was like, oh no, we'll have less of this. It's all about Sam. Oh God.
Carole, what do you have?
It's always so hard to pick favorites because they're all my babies.
Mhm. Of
All have
course.
their own, and some get more love than others. But I guess I would pick the one that I wrote both very early and then most recently, because it's a trilogy, is the Payphone verse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's so good.
It started from the song Payphone from Maroon 5. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
put an image in my head of Jensen finding this payphone in the middle of the desert, and then I had to figure out all of the reason why he was there and stuff. So, but I just wrote the third installation for this year's Big Bang, which was called The Ceiling Can't Hold Us. So
Great.
that's definitely one of my favorites. I have a 2-part Witch Sam verse, a violation of expectancies, and a familiar destiny.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh my God, a familiar destiny. Dean is a cat, and I had so much fun writing Dean as a cat. He's such a little, he's such a little bitch.
It's so
bestie.
beautiful, really. It's so amazing, and I love this humor part. You did such a great job. That's amazing, really.
And then probably a personal labor of love. A couple of years ago, I wrote Love in the Time of Revolution, which is Jared and Jensen set during the Russian Revolution.
Oh, that one is amazing. It is amazing.
Jared is in the trenches as a Russian soldier, and Jensen's working in the castle for the royal family. And, of course, there's all the events of the Russian Revolution, and it's the most research I've ever done for a story. I've spent over a month just researching and making little note cards out and figuring out the timeline so I'd know how old they were when these events happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
but I
awesome.
really enjoyed writing it.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't have anything to do this evening, guys, because I've got a massive to-do list now, isn't it? You have to go and read everything. Great, thanks, guys.
Is there any parting thoughts to our listeners or just in general about Wincest fan fiction or anything you'd like to impart before we say goodbye?
I think we have to do this again.
Yes. Yes, we do.
100%. You are welcome back anytime.
We will figure out another schedule that we can do soon. Because I do want to talk. I know, unfortunately, I think we're just running out, but I do want to talk about DCCon at some point. So let's try and do that too. I'll add that to the list. Anything, Tammy or Sandy?
I know it's a phrase, but I always prefer this ship and let ship. So I think this is a very, very important thing for me to just be respectful, be kind to each other. We all at least love the same show, and maybe we come from a different direction. At the end of the day, we all love to write, we all love to read, and just let us enjoy what we love and don't spend so much time on the hate.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. Tammy?
I have nothing.
Well, you're busy.
Yeah. Are you guys okay?
Bangs and reverse bangs and all sorts of stuff you got to work on. So
yeah.
I've got 3 reverse bangs playing in my head.
Oh my God, that's so many. I have one work in progress and I'm sulking at it at the moment, going, until you get your shit together, I'm not doing anything with you.
I have one reverse bang, but I'm also working on a story. There are a couple issues of a zine, Wincest zines. There was the first one was on soulmates, the second one was on dreams, and there's a third one now in progress on fairy tales, myths, and legends. And that will be coming out before Christmas. And I have a story for that, so I'm working on those too.
Oh my gosh, I'm in awe by all of this stuff. This is amazing. This is just amazing stuff.
Y'all are busy. Are you guys all okay if we share out your socials?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. This has been lovely. I was very nervous in the beginning, but you're all lovely. You're all lovely. And you made it very easy to chit chat about something we all love. So thank you. And we will definitely have you back. Hopefully sooner rather than later to discuss all those other things that are forefront now of my mind. We need to talk about.
She got questions.
Thanks for having us here.
Yes.
You guys are most welcome.
Thank you. So we will talk to you soon. We're going to hang out and do our housekeeping stuff, but feel free to exit whenever you'd like, and we'll chit chat soon.
Before you
Okay.
leave,
Oh, okay.
you guys all have like the cutest like Twitter profile pictures and like headers and stuff. They're adorable. This little chippy sandys. It's great. I love it. My Twitter banner was Team Free Will as cats for like a while. It was great. But yes, that's it. You guys can go and get on with your days now. I just wanted to be like, guys, they're so cute. They're so lovely. But thank you again for joining us, and you are welcome back anytime. We got Supernatural to talk about, DC Con to talk about, Take Two to talk about, ABO to talk about. We got so many episodes. Come back anytime, guys.
Thank you for having us.
You are very welcome. Take care, guys. Bye.
Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
That was awesome. It was a lot, but it was awesome. Huge fan. If you want to follow them on Twitter, just go to Mike because I found them all and followed them. And they have the cutest little Tammy's header is like it's a little chippy Sam and Dean in a field and Sam's wearing a crown of flowers.
Oh, that must be for like the new
It's
new,
amazing.
stuff. That's awesome.
Look at this. Look at this business. Look at it. That's the cutest.
Oh,
Look how fucking cute. I love it.
that is lovely.
I love it.
Oh, goodness.
That's adorable. What is this now?
That's
Look
a
at
nice
this.
one. That's a nice
Look
one.
at this. Yeah, no, that is a nice one. But look at this. Look at this little chippy business. Look at this. Yeah, no, we'll go back to that one. That's nice. Fucking hell, I approve. Good lord. Right, anyway.
So we had a great recording with Carole and Tammy and Sandy, and we will put all of their information in the description for the episode, different ways you can reach out to them. And yeah, I'm excited. This is like a nice extension of I think what what we do now and how we can reach out to more fans of Supernatural. So I'm really happy about that.
And they want to come back. We want them to come back. We have like a list of topics that we want to talk to them about.
Yeah.
So we tried to focus today mostly on fanfic. But like we got detoured all over the place.
Yeah.
Poor Sandra's probably got a buttload to edit, but we got into like how you got into Supernatural, and everyone apart from me, because I live in England and we don't get fun things like cons over here. They all went to DC but didn't meet. So we're gonna have to have an episode about that. Maybe we'll get Ted back as well.
I remember Carole, when I had reached out, she had made mention back at DC, like, that she'd be, if I wanted to reach out and, find her or wherever. And I just kind of like, it got busy. And then I was like, I held myself back. But yeah, I'm interested because I think Sandy is from Germany. And I believe I remember her coming up to the mic quite a few times at like different panels and stuff. So I just want to make sure that's exactly her. Because I believe she said her name was Sandra. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, I think it's the same person that I saw going up and asking questions. So I'm excited to find out if that was the case. But yeah, so we're going to try to wrap this up. So if you want to reach out to us via email, we are at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are idling in the letter D Impala. We have a Discord channel. We have a Ko-fi in case you feel like supporting us for all of the hard work that we do to bring you these wonderful podcasts. If you, want to give us a little tip or give us a little something to help me get through my video creations and my editing and my all these wonderful things that we utilize to give you what we hope is entertaining and informative as well, especially when we get into kink. That's always something I learn a lot about. So if you would like to reach out to me on AO3, I am Drasna. That's DRASNA. On Twitter, I am Kyle Writes. That's SKYLEWRITES. If you'd want to learn about more of my original fiction, you can visit my website at sandrakyle.com. And as mentioned, I'm currently working on a cowboy romance. The title of it is Cowboy Cantor, and the hero in it is, of course, modeled after Dean/Jensen/ everything he's ever done kind of thing in the cowboy realm. So I'm looking forward to getting that out, hopefully by the end of the year. And I'm also going to narrate the audiobook because I can do that. I don't need to hire anybody else to do that for me going forward. So
do that.
I'm excited about all of those projects that are on the horizon. So yes, Karlee, how can they find you?
You can find me
All in one place.
all in one place. All my shit's in a line, people. All my ducks are in a row. They're not happy ducks. They're very, very stressed, but they're all in the goddamn line. So if you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Twitter and AO3. It's Karlee Karma. However you think Karlee might be spelled, it's probably not. So it's Karlee, and then Karma as you would spell it normally. So reach out. Reach out to Tammy, Carole, and Sandy as well. They all post on AO3. As Sandra said, links and stuff will be in the description. We've read some of their stuff. We highly, highly recommend.
It's really good. Really good.
So go check them out. Give them
Makes
some
me
love.
want to be a better writer when I read some of this stuff. I'm like, damn, how did you come up with that stuff?
You do that to me all the time. You
do
post
that
stuff
to
and I'm
me
like,
too.
Oh, that's nice. The fandom bringing people together to outcompete each other in imposter syndrome.
Yes, absolutely.
But we will say thank you for joining us in the backseat, guys, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.